everyone. It's end of winter here in the south of Africa. I
We
don't know
hope.
about we hope. I'm starting to see signs the hawthorns are flowering and the spring bulbs are coming up. It's just so beautiful. And so welcome on a very beautiful sunny Friday morning. So Antoinette and I have been talking this morning, and part of what we want to share learning about today is a realization that we both and a belief that we both hold about the work that we as team coaches have. In recent engagements with leaders and leadership teams recently, I noticed that there's something interesting happening in conversations at the start of leadership team journeys, where the leadership team seems to conflate um, the process of thinking together and talking together, deciding what they need to do to enact something in the organization, and choosing how they need to be together when they enact to do something in the organization. So there's almost three levels of thinking, which we went and checked. Torbert actually talks about this in vertical development. So what I'm noticing is that leaders talk directly like, we need to get the organization to do this. But there isn't thinking about how the leadership team needs to do that as a collective. And there isn't thinking about how the leadership as a team, as a collective, need to behave when they actually go and do the thing. And very interestingly, there is reflection and thinking on individual leader level on how they will show up and what they need to do. But that level of thinking isn't the same level of maturity as the leadership team together. And so the realization is that our work as team coaches is to get the team to become aware of the opportunities, to stop and pause and to ask them, okay, so this thing that you want to do, how is it that you're going to do it? How are you going to be together? What is the level of decision making? How are you going to communicate this? What is the impression that you want to bring? What are the agreements that you're going to have together? And to start thinking about how they spend their time together in conversation and decision making, how they align, etc., how they are together as a team. So that was a long intro. Antoinette, what do you want to say about this?
So yeah, so it was a beautiful intro, Will. There's if we look at it from an individual point of view, there's only so much work that we can do to work on ourselves when we are in isolation. We have to get into relationship with others in order to develop ourselves further, because let's face it, that's where the problems lie, So if I approach this from another side, the want that we have as coaches, or the dream that we have as coaches, rather than the want to develop people, that's where we need to leverage what we do. When people get together as a leadership team, there very often is no team there. A lot of the groups that we work with, they are really groups. They cooperate with one another. They don't collaborate. So there's a sort of loose understanding about what needs to happen in the organization. And as soon as they can, they hive themselves off because of time pressure, etc. They hive themselves off to work in their area of the organization, not realizing that there's tremendous power in them as a team. So not only do they not utilize that power, they also don't experience firsthand what it feels like to work as a team and to access that which is available to us in a team that is not available to us as individuals. I mean, that's why teams are there. So like you say, our work is very often just to make them aware of what's beyond their current focus. If the current focus is completely externally focused into the organization, there's very little energy left to focus on themselves as how do we operate, and then there's no chance for them to see the relationship between how they are with one another, how they behave with one another, how they reach decisions, how they communicate, and what is happening in the organization. So that's the muscle that we can help build with them, you know. So not only focusing out there, but focusing in there. So it's, I mean, this is also linked up to Chris Arguez's triple loop learning, you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
helping them reflect really deeply about their thinking and about how they are in the moment, you know, intellectually, emotionally, with one another, and how that is influencing actually what's happening in the organization out there, you know, because we know from research that actually how people are with one another, how, you know, how a leader is in themselves, their maturity, but also how they are as a leadership team, the maturity and the success of the leadership team has a direct impact on what's happening in the organization out there.
And so there's a part, I think, about our work as team coaches can be to help and support leadership teams around the operational stuff, to solve specific business problems, you know, bring some of the tools that we have in our toolkit from a business perspective or an agile perspective, and there's that work. And I make up that that is temporary, because unless that shift has happened from the awareness of collaborate versus cooperate, unless the shift happened from cooperate to collaborate, you know, cooperation, the problems can be solved, but the thinking, the behaviors, the way of being, not making that triple loop learning, not having the reflection, not seeing that, oh, we are now back in that thinking that caused the problem in the first place. That level of awareness is what we as team coaches, I feel, ethically need to instill and grow and support in leadership teams so that they don't need us anymore.
Mm. Yeah, beautifully said. Yeah. So that's it. That's enough.
That's it.
That little bit of work is enough.
Yeah.
So,
And so we encourage you to enjoy the work that you do with leaders in that way, and explore it and have fun and enjoy the spring that's coming. Cheers, everyone.
thank you all. Bye bye.